a huge thing for me because yeah, I mean, he's contributed so much to my success and kind of turning around my trading and also helping out with everything in the room and just an overall good friend. So his name is Pedro. So welcome, Pedro, guys. You there, Pedro? Uh-oh. Did we lose him?
Well, I think it's working.
Are you there?
A huge thing for me because yeah, I mean, he's contributed so much to my success and kind of turning around my trading and also
Your
helping
YouTube is
out with
on.
everything in
YouTube
the
is on
room and
there,
just an overall
Pedro.
good friend. So his name is Pedro. So welcome, Pedro, guys.
Morning, Cruz. How you getting on? Can
You
you
there,
hear me
Pedro?
okay?
Yeah, I hear you fine, bro. So I
Can you hear me
appreciate it.
okay,
Yeah, bro.
Cruz?
Oh, did we lose him?
Well, I think it's working.
Are you there? A huge thing for me because yeah, I mean, he's contributed so much to my success
So you have to,
and
so you
kind
have
of
to do it
turning
off
around my trading
the
and also
audio off of the
helping out
Discord,
with
not the
everything in
YouTube
the room
stream.
and
There's a
just an
delay on
overall
it.
good friend. So his name is Pedro. So welcome, Pedro, guys.
Morning, Cruz. How you getting on? Can
You
you
there,
hear me
Pedro?
okay?
Yeah, I hear you fine, bro. So I
Can you hear me
appreciate it.
okay,
Yeah, bro.
Cruz?
Did we lose him?
Well, I think it's working.
I don't know what's going on.
So you have to do it off the voice, the audio off of the.
Can you hear me okay, Cruz? Huh?
Now I can hear you. There you go.
Yo.
Okay, cool. So yeah, so like, so I think you're listening on the YouTube and there's like a delay on it. So, but welcome, bro. How you doing? Oh, can you hear me through the Discord, Pedro?
So I think you're listening on the YouTube and there's like a delay on it. So, but welcome, bro. How you doing?
No bad, no bad, no bad. Yourself?
Yeah, guys. I don't know.
Cruz, can you hear me all right?
Yeah, cool.
Yo.
Now you can hear me through the Discord.
Yo.
Okay, cool, awesome. So we'll go ahead and jump right in, guys. But yeah, like I was saying, um, yeah, the audio's off in the group. It was just me and Pedro right here. I actually, it's my fault. I messed up and I should have did a whole, I should have did it on the like a Zoom meeting so then you could see both of us. But that's my bad. But yeah, I could hear you, Pedro, now. So, um, but yeah, how you doing, bro?
Hear me through the Discord?
Yo.
Okay, cool. Awesome. So we'll go ahead and jump right in, guys. But yeah, like I was saying, um, yeah, the audio's off in the group. It was just me and Pedro right here. I actually, it's my fault. I messed up and I should have did a whole, I should have did it on the like a Zoom meeting so then you could see both of us. But that's my bad. But yeah, I could hear you, Pedro, now. So, but yeah, how you doing, bro? Hear me through the Discord?
Perfect, no bad. Yourself?
Hold on, guys. What we're gonna do is we're gonna so let me get a Zoom going real quick, okay?
Yo, can you hear me, Cruz? I kind
Yeah.
of hear you.
Now you
If
can
you
hear
can
me.
hear me, I kind of hear you.
All right, cool. Did you turn off the sound on the YouTube? There. Can you hear me now?
Cruz, can you hear me?
Yeah.
You?
There, can you hear me now?
I can hear you. I can hear you now.
Okay, but are you hearing me through the Discord?
Yeah.
Right. Okay. Okay, let's try this. Can you hear me? I've got everything turned on.
Yeah. So just turn off the audio on your YouTube. Turn off the YouTube.
Nah, I cannot hear you, Bruce. If you can hear me, I cannot hear you. Yeah.
But on the yeah here on the thing you don't hear me here.
Sorry about that.
No worries, bro. What is up, guys? Good morning. Sorry about the technical difficulties. We should have done like a test run, and honestly, like I said, it is my fault that I should have did it as a Zoom, so it's a lot easier when I have someone else on and I forget that it's easier to do it like as a Zoom meeting whenever we do it. So, but definitely welcome, Pedro. You've been, dude, I've been friends with you since J Trader's Room when I was a member in J Trader's Room, and you're just in there trading as well. And yeah, but welcome, bro.
Thanking you. I appreciate the opportunity, Bruce.
So yeah, this is a kind of a special edition, guys, of the Sunday StockCast. I wanted to do a little something for the people all around the world that aren't in the United States. I know it's really hard with the time difference, especially with my schedule. I like doing it a little bit later in the evening. So I definitely appreciate you guys. I wanted to make sure that you guys are taken care of. You guys are able to participate as well. But make sure we do this every Sunday, the Sunday StockCast on, we go over like certain topics, we have guests on, and then we'll do a little bit of technical analysis and getting ready for your trading week as well, all right? Every Sunday, I usually post on Twitter when it's going to go ahead and be. It's usually around 5 o'clock my time, 7 o'clock market time. It's usually when I get back in town from seeing my son on Sundays. And then on Fridays, we also go live. We trade live on Fridays. If you guys want to come join us, you can see what it's like to trade with the New Age Wall Street crew, and we'll go from there. So, but yeah, welcome, Pedro. How we never really got to talk where you told me your backstory, like on like how you started trading and all that, bro.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. Well, it was one of those things, believe it or not, Bruce, where I had an uncle, kind of who was a banker himself. He used to work in the banks, and he did kind of stocks and things and all that. And so I remember when we used to go and the whole family on a Sunday get together and all that, and we used to go and visit my uncle and my cousins and all that. We were always kind of, he was the rich uncle, and everybody went, got together and went to visit him and saw the cousins and all that. So it was always done. It was at the back of my mind, one of the things where I always wanted to know how to trade. what trading was like and all the stuff. So it was really from the age, I don't know, I probably would have been 10, 12, since I wanted to do kind of trading. At the time, obviously, there was no computers, there was no internet, there was none of that. So it would have been a different story then.
Yeah, so for the people that don't really know it, I know that Pedro kind of keeps kind of quiet. He likes to just make his money and run or whatever.
Can you hear me, Chris?
Yeah, I can hear you just fine. Can you hear me now? Oh, so then so Pedro does he's also very entrepreneurial. So you own like a couple businesses. You also own like some real estate and things like that as well, right?
That's good. That's a good idea. That's a good idea.
Yeah, so
that's basically kind of my background. I've been doing properties, I don't know, for about 20 years now. Got quite a bit, large portfolio. Yeah, yeah.
So, so one like the kind of the topic, and I think everyone, and this kind of goes off of what we talked about last week or maybe the week before, about the just the mental and emotional capital that's being spent right now with the way that the market is. It is not freaking easy, guys. I know that even the easy days, right now, the easier days, I should say, you're having to work for them. Like, like you're actually, I remember back in December, November, when everything was just going up, you pretty much could just, throw on a trade, and, as long as, like a long call trade, and you're gonna make money. It was pretty simple. But now it's you have to concentrate a little bit more, and you've been through this like a lot, bro. Like we've been through a lot of times in trading where I've seen you personally, like step away and have to take time off and then reevaluate, and even like put more effort into like your businesses and your properties instead of trading and stuff. But like, how do you bounce back, and what's your best like advice like for bouncing back?
To be honest, I think all of us, and when I mean all of us, every single trader goes through the same thing. I mean, I've obviously not been doing it for, been trading for 20 years or anything like that. But even when you see kind of guys that have been in the business for 20, 30 years plus, they have those days, and we all do have. The way kind of I do it, the way it works for myself is I take a few days off. The market will be there when you get back. I take a few days off. If you're tired, you're exhausted because you've been trading or you've been spending too much time in front of the computer, take time off. Go for a walk. If you need a walk during the day, just go for a walk. Shut it down. Go for a walk. If you need to take, days off because you're mentally exhausted, you've been doing all the bits and pieces, just take time off. It works for me, and I would recommend it to anyone. You didn't need to force any trade. Take time off. I think we were talking about last week or something like that, or the week before. Where we were all the coronavirus kind of thing. You got the government, well, kind of, going back to obviously the property business. But here in Europe, you have the government say, well, if you have no money to pay your rent, then pay your rent and all that. So I was like, shit, are we going to go back to 2008? Another market crash and all that. So I have to kind of protect myself on that kind of part of the business. And I think I've emailed you a text and said, look, I need to take a couple of days off to get myself sorted these in, keep an eye a wee bit more on that part of the business. And I knew that, maybe by the time I was ready to come back, and in 2 days the market was going to be there. So yeah, take them off if you need it.
Yeah, I think that's and that's something that I think is very underrated as far as taking rest. Like there's no and that's something that like the way that I compare it is like if you're into going to the gym, you don't build your muscles and you don't build your strength when you're actually in the gym. Everyone thinks that you're building that strength when you're in the gym, but it's actually when you're resting, right? When you're resting, your body's repairing itself, and that's when you're actually making those gains in the gym. So that is absolutely awesome if you're able to, understand that the rest for your body and your brain, to process everything and to intake everything, because you could only take in so much. Like we aren't machines. We are definitely organic, organisms where we could only take in so much information and we can only do so much physically until our body forces us like, hey, you know what, you're freaking crazy. We're gonna go ahead and tap out, and then you're out longer than what you're actually wanting to be, right? So it's better to take these little breaks, these little rests or whatever along the way, and instead of having these huge I would say like drawdowns of your emotional capital to where you're forced to take this time off. And I've been there. So I've been there before where that happens, and you're just kind of sick in bed and just kind of anxious, and you can't really do anything. But I think that's a huge thing because with like how Pedro was saying, like he owns these properties, and it's definitely very taxing. He has his family and things he has to take care of, and then to understand that on the big time frame, trading will always be there, right? So you could always come back and be at the market, and that's the thing with skills, right? So trading in the market is a skill. So and just like riding a bike, right? So you may not ride a bike for years, but if you go and you pick one up, you may be a little bit wobbly at first, right? You're going to be rusty, but you're going to be able to ride that bike, given a little bit of time. You remember that skill. Same thing with trading. You're going to remember that skill, and it'll always be with you as long as you understand how to do it. You always have that skill. So yeah, that's like what I just wanted to talk about with Pedro here is because he's seen me, and another thing that we'll get into here in a bit, but he's kind of seen me where dude, I've been up like hours, like where it used to be our funny thing where the way that I would tell time when I would be up working late is whenever Pedro would say good morning in the chat in Scotland, and it was like 1 o'clock at my time. So
Yeah, I remember that. I remember that.
so that's when I knew it was time to go to bed. So, but dude, maybe you could talk about like you're actually like I think you're member number one in New Age Wall Street. Like maybe from your perspective, when like you knew me like coming from Jay's room, and then like we had a kind of a little side room just amongst friends, and then when I said. And then when I said, hey, I want to start my own room, like, what do you guys think? And then, up until now, like, kind of, like, I think people think I'm lying when I say I was homeless and, like, everything I was going through. And, kind of maybe tell the story from your perspective.
But to be honest, I've never doubted you, Cruz, and you can probably, you can say that yourself, and I think, when you say, right, I'm going to start my own room and all that, what do you think, and I've always said to you, so just go for it, you know what I mean, you know what you're doing, you know how to do it, you know how to apply it, just remember I said to you, and I think a few months back, I'm not so sure if, you remember me sending your wee texts and saying messages, Cruz, remember when you were, a few months ago, and then look what you are now, and I remember having breakfast with my missus and saying, talking about, kind of your story, and I was like, Cruz is gonna start his kind of, his group and all that. I wasn't that sure about it, and it's at the moment, he's kind of homeless at the moment and all that, and my missus was asking me, so what do you say? And I said, well, just go for it. You know what you're doing. You know how to do. You know how to apply it. Just go for it. And I think obviously your room just, it just, it keeps growing and growing and growing. And some of the boys that have been coming in, they've been great. They've been great. When everybody kind of helps each other and all that, I like that. I like that from a room. Where it's not just one person saying, like, this is what it is. Obviously, there are rules and within the room, but there is always everyone helping each other and all that. So I do like that.
Yeah, absolutely. So and that's a huge thing for me is that when I started, I'd been in other rooms, right? And there's like certain things I liked in other rooms and things that I didn't like, and I didn't like the totalitarian thing where it's like, hey, you're gonna do it like this, or get out, or I think we could all benefit from each other. Like even the new members, they show me things and what they're doing, and to I think that's a huge edge is to be able to look critically at the way that someone trades and be able to try to get into their mind and what their thought process was. And now, like for the people that have been a little bit longer, I could see that their trade. They'll tell me their entry, exit, whatever, and I could see what their thought process was behind it without even them explaining it, right? So without them even explaining, what they're looking at, and I could looking at the chart, and I could learn from that because then I could see where how they were trying to mitigate their risk, how they saw their profit taking and things like that. So and it helps me with my trading because there's things that like and I love like the newer people that challenge me, right? Because they have different views, and they're like, well, how have you thought about this? And I'm like, well, no, and then there's even a couple new people that trade instruments that I'm not even aware of, like energy ETFs and other things, right? And so and I'm not I don't trade those or whatever, but I at least I could get exposed to it in that type of way. Oh, Pedro's over there cleaning his guns. Look at him. Is that what it was?
No.
Oh, I was like, damn, Pedro's over here all gangster on a Sunday morning, bro. Um, but yeah, so that's it, guys. Like I just
Yeah,
wanted.
yeah, I agree with you with that. And what I would say, obviously, to people that, kind of they just starting or looking for a room or whatever, try different things, try different rooms if you have to, try different kind of, people, try different mentors, try different, whatever it is that you need to do, try different things. And then, learn a wee bit from here, a wee bit from there, a wee bit from the other one, and then apply that to your, to your repertoire, basically. Apply that to, the way you like to trade. If you like to just scalp, just scalp. If you like to, swing, just swing. Just do what you need to do to make it through and basically trade it.
Yeah. So and I think that's for me I kind of oh, my router fell down. I for me I'm still yeah, I think there's a lot. So this is opinion. So there's other mentors that only trade the way that they trade, right? So they're and I believe you leave a lot on the leave a lot on the table like that, where I want to learn how to do everything. And I think that's what draws me to trading, is that it's always a challenge. And and that's I if I get bored with something and it's not a challenge, that's when I start getting into trouble, like in other areas of my life and stuff. So whenever like so I like seeing other people's thought process and being challenged. Yesterday I had a pretty nice back and forth with Brian Lee on Twitter about blowing up your accounts and how to mitigate your risk and things like that. And that's cool because I really respect him and his point of view and the way he does things. But I don't think you should ever stop learning, even if you're educating, right? So you always, so someone told me once you start rising up, right? You're rising up and you're making these moves. You always send the ladder back down, right? So I have the people that I'm helping, and then I also have that where I'm getting more knowledge, so then I could pass it down as well to people that could use it too. So yeah, but I really just wanted to as well, like I've been getting a lot of like messages and DMs where people are just it's tough. People are tired. People are like they, I think a lot of people want to quit right now. I've never seen like so many people like just doubt themselves right now. It's just absolutely
It
absolute.
is tough. Trading mentally, it is tough. I will say, trading is one of the hardest things, and I have to deal with on the, the psychology side of it. It is tough, but it's one of those. You need to keep doing it. Screen time. Pen and paper, save charts, what works, if you had a good day, what do you do that day different to the day that you didn't have a good day? It is a lot of study, it is a lot of screen time, and you got to do it. Talking about obviously, kind of wanting to quit and all that. It's one of those. You've got to pick yourself up and just carry on doing it. It's one of those.
Yeah. So it is. It's definitely one of the toughest things that, and that's why I like
Look,
it, right?
I've got a story for you here, Chris. I remember I remember kind of the first time I went to meet Jay, you know, kind of in his house in kind of in San Marino, and I was kind of, I've been in Jay's room, kind of for a while and finding out, we were kind of talking to each other and helping each other out and finding all that. So obviously, you wanted to do well. I wanted to do well because obviously I was going to meet Jay, and like Jay's a machine, so I knew he was going to, right, okay, what you've been doing, what you this, what you that, because that's what Jay's like, that's what he does. That's the way he is. So I was kind of, right, okay, we're going to size up a bit. I just wanted, to go and meet Jay with, kind of a story, a good story, so you could, have something to talk about and share and all that. And I remember kind of, I cannot remember the name of the ticker and all that. Just, I fucked up anyway that week. In fact, that trade, and I took a $7,500, kind of dollars, if kind of loss. And I was like meeting Jay, in 2 days' time, and I was like, fuck, the guy's gonna kill me. You know what I mean? What kind of story, to go and go across to Italy, sit down with Jay, having a coffee, and all that. I knew he was going to say, right, how you getting on, brother? And I was like, fuck. And I remember sitting down with Jay, and then I knew he was coming, and he so how you getting on? How do you do this week? And I was like, fuck, I was so embarrassed. I said, Jay, I'm going to put my hands up, and you tell you the truth, this is what happened. And he was like, right, okay. Well, Jay being Jay, he always wants to help people. I was like, right, okay, well, do this, do that, blah, 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 blah. And I remember going back to his house, and the first thing I did was fire the computer. This might help you out, and I just went through, some charts and all that, and some setups and all that, JBG, and then that was it, and going back to, how you come back when you wanted to quit, because obviously I think that was on a Wednesday and Thursday, and I was meeting you on Friday or Saturday, something like that. By the time obviously I was on the plane, I wanted to give up, I wanted to quit, so I'm away to see one of the guys obviously helped me out with the training, and instead of saying, look, I made so much, and basically coming in where I lost. But the following week, you just basically, you pick yourself up, you dust yourself, and you just go at it again. That's it.
Yeah, that's all you can do, right? And I'm gonna get into like a rant like that, but NFX in her room, she's also from the UK, and she said, I wonder how Americans will find Pedro's accent. And I freaking love Pedro's accent. But then on the other end, I always wonder how I sound to you guys. So I probably sound like some little Mexican dude from Guadalajara, bro. Like, so I apologize as well. Like it's probably funny to you guys the way I sound. So but yeah, exactly like you said, bro. Like I did the same. I've done the same thing too, and that's something I want to talk about. Is that when you're trading, we're exposed to everyone else, and everyone wants to show off so much, like their goals, because that's the way we measure success, right? So I think in trading is one of the very few industries where you measure success actually on how much money you make, right? So in like, say you're a teacher, you can't measure success off of money if you're a teacher, right? Or garbage man, or anything else like that, right? So the only metric that we can measure our success in is actually how much money that we're making consistently on a day-to-day basis. So what everyone is actually posting their P&Ls and things like on Twitter, on all these rooms, and the marketing firm rooms and things like that, and it's a lot. Like and I fell victim to it actually a while back. I think in the beginning of this year, I was like, well, I'm only my rule is I only trade about 5 contracts for intraday trades on the options, and that's all you need really, like to make some decent money. And so I was like, well, I want to make big money like this other guy that I see on Twitter, trading 100 or 200 contracts. You know what I mean? Like if he could do it, I could do it. Like And so I went and I did the same thing. I got my ass handed to me. I can't remember how big the loss was, but then I went to my mentor. He hates when I call him my mentor, but my buddy, my trading buddy, who holds me accountable. And I told him, and he's like, well, I told you. He's like, isn't it better just, do it, consistently with smaller size? And I'm like, well, absolutely. So, so that's what I do now. Like I usually stay within, that five contract range. And sometimes I will put a little bit more, like if I get like a dip, just to be able to sell it when it pops up again, just to, get a little bit more profit. But it's not like I'm holding and exposing myself to the whole trade for that, the, one, two, three, extra contracts. But anyways, beside that though, is that I think people get really burnt out on, measuring themselves to other people where like there's a lot of newer people like in our room right now. They're making $200-300 a day, but they want those 4-figure days. They want those 5-figure days as well. And those are huge accomplishments, and they're on the way. They're on the way as you doing that. And the thing is that you got to understand the power of compounding, where those $200 a day at the end of the month, what is that? So that's $500 a week. That's $2,000 a month. I mean, what would you do with an extra $500 a month? I mean, that's that's someone's car note. That's half your rent. Like things like that. Where if you're always consistently comparing yourself, then you're never going to feel like you accomplish anything. And quite frankly, I think it's very disrespectful of yourself to compare yourself to someone else. You can't compare your journal to someone else. So you're disrespecting.
That's right. I agree with you 100%. I'm lucky enough that I don't have to deal with that mental side, on myself. I don't really care, is so and so made 100K, today, and then tomorrow another 100. To me, it doesn't, making a difference. Is so and so is making, 50 or 100. It doesn't matter. I've never had to deal with that. So I'm quite lucky, myself. Then I don't have to. I don't compare myself to anyone else. It's my own journey. It's my own book. I'll write the bloody chapters, and that's basically what I do. That doesn't interfere with my psychology. And the trading at all. So I'm quite lucky with that. But yeah, it's your own journey. Some people might take them, a year, and they'll make $1 million in a year. That's fine. Congratulations. If it takes you 2, 3, 4, or 5, that's fine. Congratulations. It's do it at your own pace. And it's one of those. I'm quite lucky that I don't have a problem with that myself. Somebody else's P&L is no,
It's none of your business.
Yeah. The way I see it is, it's one of those. I've never had to deal with that, luckily enough.
So that's good, right?
I had people message me. Oh, did you see that guy? I don't know. I had a 10K day. And my reply is always like, look, it's all right. It doesn't matter. You don't know what size of account the guy is using. You don't know what his risk is. He probably had a 10K account, and he decided to risk it all in a trade. And then, it was lucky. And then, 10 grand. I don't know. We don't know. So, keep yourself, do yourself, execute your plan, and you'll be fine, And as you said, it's accumulate. Do you know then, if you made 5% of your account every day, every month, you will basically double your account.
Exactly. So someone did that the other day. They had like a $2,000 account, and they made like $200 or $300, and they're like, well, I want to make more. They had like a they were asking me if they should keep trading, and I was like, dude, you freaking made 20%. Why would you keep trading? Like, I understand the number looks small, but it's 200 whatever dollars, but you made 20% of your account today. Like, you do that by the end of the week, and you doubled your account in a week. And so, but that's what I was saying though, is that it is disrespectful of yourself when you're comparing yourself to someone else, because you're not respecting the progress that you made personally. So if you're to go ahead and like I said, if you're being disrespectful to yourself and and realize where you've come from and all the gains and all the progress that you've personally made, then you're going to go ahead and be more grateful. You're going to be more appreciative. You're going to be able to perform a lot better, because you're not comparing to someone else where you'll never be. There's always someone better. There's always going to be someone better in everything. I could, very few far in between are you going to be the very best in the world at something, right? But if we're at least, top of our personal game, that's okay. That's going to be okay for us. And that brings me into another thing is that whenever you're making progress, that's when you're most happiest. So if you're measuring your progress and you're actually content with your own progress, that's what makes happiness in a whole from your life, right? So the people always wonder, what the meaning of life is, happiness, how to get it and everything. It's progress. So so if you're just sitting there and not having any progress in your life, those are the people that are most miserable, that are sitting on their ass at home, fighting over Trump tweets and things like that. Like that he's telling people to inject disinfectant and stuff that have nothing better to do. But if you're focusing on your own progress and how to get better every single day, you're going to look back and you're able to revel in the amount of progress that you actually got. And you're going to be satisfied, no matter how small it is. You're going to be satisfied that you're making those gains. And so,
totally agree with you. I mean, then again, we go back to, to the scenario then. Let's say you have, I don't know, a 500 account or a 1,000 account, 1K account. I don't know, whatever the account might be. It could be $200 account, it could be 100 grand, whatever it might be. If you make just 5% of that account every day, every month, you basically double that account. So, if you go obviously a $1,000, account, 5% of that, made in a day, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, an hour, 2 hours, whatever it takes you, shut the PC. See you later. Come back tomorrow. That's it. That's your day's work done.
yeah.
And then it works with the psychology. It works with your with your brain. You're happy for the rest of the day. You come in the next day all fresh. Fired up, ready to go. Rather than because it's harder to come back the next day when you had obviously either a big loss or a red day or you've been ready for a few days in a row. You know that yourself. But yeah, write your goals, set the plan, stick to it, and you should be fine.
Exactly. So, one thing, so like I said, a lot of people being disheartened, wanting to quit and things like that. And, I was there, bro. Like I was there. Like I don't know how many people know the story of how I got into trading and everything. And when I started to really hit it hard was after I broke up with my son's mother. And I was like, oh, I'm gonna show her, like, I'm gonna be rich in like 5 months, you know what I mean? And here I am, like 2 or 3 years later, and I'm still not 100% where I want to be. But anyways, but that was how I got started. And so I locked myself literally in the house, to learn how to trade, and literally didn't do anything, right? And so the thing is that I wanted to quit, right? So I even wanted to quit life. I don't know how many of you guys know, but I tried to commit suicide a couple of times. Like I deal with depression, anxiety, things like that. So I try to be as open about it as possible because I know other people deal with it. And if I could impact or, say like, someone else needs to talk. But I mean, there's times where I message Pedro where I'm like, dude, this fucking sucks, dude. Like where week one or whatever it is, it was on the, in the room, it was three of us. It was me, Pedro, and Brian. I think me, Pedro, Brian, and Alberto, and that's it. Like and I'm over here like, oh man, like I'm just looking at this huge mountain, right? This huge mountain that I have to climb, and I'm sitting here at the freaking beach where I can't, I'm negative, that climb, and I just can't, see where, anywhere near, getting, taking out the big chunk, and building this room or whatever. But the thing is that, taking that first step, you'll figure it out along the way. As long as you take that first step and you take these setbacks, you will figure it out. As long as you want it, if you want it enough, then you will find a way to be able to go and get into it. If not, you're just going to find an excuse. But eventually, so like right now, like especially like if you're struggling in your trading, you have excuses where, someone was saying like, I keep on taking these losses, and so eventually you're gonna get fed up with yourself, and you're say like, I'm tired of losing, like something has to change, like, and I think every trader gets to that point, and it's like, I'm like, I've already tried everything else, so why don't we just try it like the way someone else tells me and actually be disciplined to doing it, according to a plan and actually, holding myself accountable to it. And then that's when you start seeing results, is when you're holding yourself to that ideal, and then you're able to go ahead and progress further. So you get tired of, and I've talked about this lots of times. You get tired of your own bullshit lies that you tell yourself, and then you're able to go ahead and go from there, right?
Yeah, it's like when you were saying, you know what I mean, about going to the gym and all that. How many times do you go up in the morning and say, oh, fuck, I didn't want to train today, I didn't want to do anything today. You need to, you know what I mean, get out of bed, get dressed, and hit the gym. Once you're at the gym, you know what I mean, and then, you know what I mean, you'll come back to life, if you know what I mean. With these is exactly the same. Make a plan, set your goal, stick to it, and that's it. Carry on doing it. I wake up every morning, to be honest, Bruce. I wake up every morning, you know what I mean, thanks the Lord, if you know what I mean, for all the good things, and you know what I mean, they've forgiven me, the bad things they've given me, because obviously I learned from the bad things, if you know what I mean. It's like what you're saying as well. It's always, there'll be someone worse than you in life than on a daily basis. And you know what I mean, and I keep saying to myself as I wake up in the morning, the first thing I say, today I'm a day closer from achieving, you know what I mean, whatever I want to achieve in life and my goals and all that. And I'll get up and I'll just do it all over again. I'm lucky enough that I don't have any problems, you know what I mean, doing that at all.
Exactly.
Some people always have issues, a problem takes a little longer, and it takes, I don't know, whatever it is. But I found that the best way to do it is basically write it down, have a plan, set your goals, stick to the plan, and be consistent. You need to be consistent. You've got to keep doing it day in and day out, day in and day out. That's it.
So I think a big part of it too is that, especially for newer traders, is that this trading is not your only income most of the time, right? So most of the time it's not your only income. And I mean, right now things are a little bit different from the coronavirus. You may be at home, you may be furloughed, you may be laid off and things like that. But me personally, like in my life, I've always thrived off of, kind of chaos, because I've never had like a peace in my life. Like I said, I've been in jail, I've been homeless, things like that. Like my parents were divorced, and my dad was very violent with my mother, and I grew up through all that. So I've always been in a state of chaos. Probably why I like trading. So it makes me feel at home. So but the thing is that so you have a plan B in the back of your head, right? So you have like a contingency, like if I take this bad trade, or I don't use a stop loss, or I don't stay disciplined in my plan, well, I'll just make money another way, or I have a job, right? So there's an old saying that says, if you want to take an island, you got to burn the boats. So, and that's exactly true. So if you want to meet a goal, you can't give yourself any way to go ahead and cop out of it and go ahead and back out of it, and in any type of way. Like, you got to hold yourself accountable, and you got to go, and that there can't be any other ending to it than you being successful. So if you give yourself any other type of ending or resolution for it that other than you being successful, you already failed. You already failed because you already understand the possibility that it's okay. You're accepting the possibility that if you do fail, it's okay, and it's not okay. Like, it's not okay, and that you eventually get to a point where you do hold yourself accountable, and you don't have no other choice but to be successful. When you don't give yourself another choice but to be successful in something, that's when you make shit happen. And that's why you hear all these crazy stories, right? These crazy stories like of athletes that were from the ghetto, and now they're making this huge amount of money because they didn't have another choice. They didn't have another choice but to go to practice every day. They didn't have another choice but to, do the, to put in the work every day, right? It was either that, or they're going to sit at home and, recycle, do the cycle all over again that they've been probably doing for generations, right? Same thing with like entrepreneurship and like businesses and things like that. How many people do you know, like stories and things like that of these, of people starting companies from nothing, where like they these small itty bitty companies, and then they just absolutely just take off because they didn't give themselves another choice but to succeed. And that's what I want. If you guys are hearing this right now, if you guys could implement anything into your trading and into your life, and not to give you a way to go ahead and back out and to like just cower over it, that is going to be the most the most influential and most impactful thing that you could do in your life, is when you don't give yourself a way to as a cop out other than being successful, right? So you say I have to do this every day, where it becomes a must. You must do this every day, or instead of it, I should do it, right? So if you say I should be studying, I should be, I should be, going over charts, I should be doing these. If you say I must do these things in order to be successful, then it's holding yourself accountable to a different level. But that's pretty much what I got on that, guys. I wanted to, just kind of talk a little bit about, like I said, about being, motivated, and because there's a lot of disheartening people where, not just because of the market environment right now, but just, taking losses in their own trading journey and stuff like that. But so one of the biggest things, guys, one of the hugest, biggest fucking things that motivates me, that someone told me one time, is that what if you die, right? What if you die and you go and you see St. Peter, right, at the pearly gates, and then before you get to go into heaven, they play a movie for you, and they show you they show you your life and the way that your life would have been lived at your absolute 100%. At your absolute 100%, and that's a total different story than what you actually wrote for yourself. That's a different kind of fucking hell, guys. Like, imagine, like, you gave your only worldly body, your only worldly every single day, and you never get any point to the point of where your ability to succeed, or to your optimal level, right? So that would just, if that doesn't motivate you to know that at the time that you at the time you die, you'll be shown that what you could have been, and it's nothing like what you actually did, then you're already dead. You might as well just sit on the couch. You could eat your Twinkies all your life, and not work at anything. But if you're motivated to say, like, I'm going to be the most optimal version of myself by the time I die, and that the person that I meet on the other end, or the movie that I watch in my life, very, very closely resembles exactly what I wrote, then you get to go to heaven, whatever. Like, I'm a believer, so you get to go to heaven, whatever, and you have a great rest eternity of the rest of your life. But imagine, guys, like, if you just were able to see your whole life, and then the way that God actually intended for you to live, and it's nothing like what you imagined it, or what you actually did in your life. That would just suck, guys. Like, and I think everyone has this a little bit of like a mindset where you're almost afraid of success. You're almost afraid of attaining that level, because you never know, you don't know what you're gonna do when you get to that level, right? So I'm sure you guys, I don't know about you guys that are like in the other, you guys are like in the UK and things like that. But if you guys ever seen like the Roadrunner cartoons, the Roadrunner and Wile E. Coyote cartoons, what would the coyote do if he ever actually fucking caught the Roadrunner? I think they actually did in one episode. They actually let him catch the Roadrunner, and then he's like, well, what do I do now? Right? So, like, I think as humans, that's the same thing, is that if we were to, the reason we kind of hold back on ourselves is because if we were ever to attain everything that we're actually capable of, then what? Right? So then what, at that point, and so then we almost self-sabotage ourselves, because we need to have these, as humans, right? We need to have these goals to be able to go ahead and level up even further, right? So that's why you see billionaires and things like that. Eventually, it's not about money, right? So their money is no longer, it's easy for them to make money. Like, what do they say? Like, Bezos added like $10 trillion in cap worth or something like this last 2 weeks. It's absolutely nuts. That's why you see a lot of billionaires transition to philanthropy, because that's a new challenge for them on how many people they could actually impact, and how many people they could help save and do things for. So, because you're always trying to level up in a different level to have that challenge. But so just to wrap up on this part, guys, and we'll go over some charts together. So, like how Pedro was saying, you got to stay in your own lane. So I'm telling you the things, for you to be successful in trading, and it translates to life so much. So you got to stay in your own lane, and don't compare like yourself to anyone else. So you run your own race. You just keep your eye on your own paper, and you do it your own thing, right? It's disrespectful on yourself and your own journey if you're comparing to someone else, because you're not being thankful and grateful for everything that you have accomplished and being proud of what you have accomplished at that point. The second part is actually changing your mindset to where you don't give yourself a way to be able to. I'm standing up, guys. It's kind of different. So I'm usually sitting down. If you can't give yourself a way out, right? So you got to change your mindset to I should be doing this, or maybe after like I do everything else that's actually comfortable and entertaining to me, or leisurely to me, then I'll get into that other part, right? So then you'll do it. So if you change it to just like right now, guys, I actually woke up late. So my alarm went off like it usually does, 4:30 in the morning. I usually go do cardio, but I turned it off for today for whatever reason. I just tired. I don't have an excuse, but I still got up. I went and did my cardio. I came back, had church, and then I'm on here. So the hard things. It's easier to knock out the hard things the first thing in your day. So the three hardest things you're going to do in your day, and then just go from that point. So if you change your mindset from I should be doing this to I must do it in order to be successful, those little steps that you make are going to make you successful. And the third part is to be motivated in a sense that change is inevitable, guys. No matter what, if you were to sit on the couch or sit in your home, the world is going to change with or without you. No matter what, the world is going to change. The market's going to change, whatever it is, even if you're not trading or anything like that. The thing is if you're going to have that impact, instead of things happening to you, you happen to them, and you change. You make those changes and have those changes in your favor. So in your favor, where it's impactful, and in your favor to the way that you want things to go in your life. So as well. So there's that part as well, because if you guys, I'm sure everyone would be motivated. Imagine like you just get to the end of your life and you're like, you're shown that you could have been this awesome person, right? And attain and what you could have attained, and it's nowhere near what you actually did. And then you go through the rest of eternity in heaven, and that's it. Like you have that regret for the rest of eternity that you didn't have that impact on other people. You weren't able to live your life into to the best of the extent you could. You weren't the best parent you could have been to your kids. You weren't, you were out doing other things instead of being a good parent. You weren't working on your work and the way that you should be. You weren't being as studious as you could. You weren't being a good friend, your good neighbor, and things like that. And you get to the end when you realize that all the impact that you could have had on as a person, that would just suck, guys. And that would just like, just imagine that just makes me sad all the way around to say that on that level. So I hope that motivates you. And if you're having trouble with your trading, are you gonna fucking quit over an inconvenience? Most people get upset over things because of an inconvenience. I lost $100. Oh, well, I couldn't trade today because of this or whatever. No one really quits because of an actual really legit reason. Like there's people out there fighting cancer, coronavirus, things like that. But you want to quit trading over a fucking inconvenience because you're inconvenienced on a day where you're frustrated? Like if that's your thing, and that's not the type of person I want to surround myself. If you want to quit over an inconvenience when there's people doing double what you're doing with half of what you got, then just quit, because I don't those aren't the type of people I want to surround myself with. So that's it. That's my rant, guys. We'll go into get into the charts. If you guys want to go put some charts in the chat, well, let me load up my Thinkorswim and go over it. Do you have any tickers you're looking at, Pedro?
No, but we can go over kind of back to what we were trading on Friday, Zoom.
Oh yeah, Zoom, dude. I think that's gonna present a pretty good. My Thinkorswim is loading right now, I think, guys. Give me a second. So I think that's gonna present a really good opportunity over at least over the next week. But that's a really good what happened, guys. That was really cool. That was cool to watch, and I'm glad that I almost wanted to swing that. Like when I don't know if you guys saw my quick little video I made. I made $1,200 just on a quick dip and rip on Friday, um, and so I saw those 185 and 190 calls, and I kind of wanted some of that action, right? Maybe go up and test 300 and come pull back down from it. Was it 300 or 200, whatever it was. So give me a second. I have some so while I'm waiting for my thinkorswim to load, guys, I'm pretty excited. I have some posters coming. I have my gun on the wall now. I'm gonna make this make it a pretty cool background here for my YouTube videos. All right, cool. All right, guys. So we had Shopify on Friday. So I just oh no, it's not Shopify. Excuse me. What the hell's Zoom? There you go. So
I'll do Zoom as well. I'll do 180 calls.
So you explain your thought process when you took this trade. Here, dude. I'll put up my thing, and then I'll kind of just annotate here while you explain it.
Well, you can see obviously, it had a decent run, on the 23rd. Obviously, from the 23rd, just had a decent enough push, that day, closed strong, and then obviously had a good pre-market as well. So I say, well, there's got to be a wee bit of profit taken. It's been running the whole day, pre-market as well. As soon as he opens up, my thought process was there's going to be a wee bit of profit taken. So I waited for that. As soon as it dipped just below I think it was 174 or something, and as soon as I seen it starting to bounce again, I basically took the 180 calls. I remember this was quiet the open. I think I took a 176. It dipped. Took a 176 and 180 calls. And as soon as obviously I had first target 178.73, once it passed that, and it had decent enough it had my bookmark open. I see nothing, no resistance above, and I just went, well, I just want to hold. As it got to past the 180 mark, I said, well, I'm going to sell, half of my contract. I remember I said to you, I said, well, that's, 3-0 now, fuck. And I just basically could not get out at all. I think I just had over 1k of profit there, unrealized. And by the time obviously I closed the platform, open it again, still couldn't, it wasn't working, closed it again, open up again, managed to get out, and I think I was $60 on the green or something.
Oh man.
Obviously your initial thoughts are, fuck me, just going mental, the bloody software wasn't working. It wasn't just for me. Looked in the chat rooms, few people had issues with the 3-0. And then I just said, well, got myself out of that negative thinking, shit days that, and I just went in positive mode again, ended up green on the trade when it could have been worse, and that was it. Left it, went for a coffee, came back in, and I think I took another trade. I think I took some puts or something after that, and then that was it, and I left it. Came back in the afternoon, saw it obviously on that drop because of the Facebook news, and I think I took the 160 puts or something, and took away the money off of that, and then that was it. That was me for the day.
Yeah, so I wanna explain why this setup works, guys. So this is one of the setups that I like playing, especially when we have a good bull environment that we could take advantage of, like the whole Trump market thing, and kind of like how this happens that's been happening as of recently. So I kind of got away from it because I got screwed one day on Amazon the bottom fell out from under it, and I was a little bit too slow to actually get it. So, and Amazon, I shouldn't have been doing that on Amazon either way, because I mean it moves in dollar increments, and I mean it was just asking for trouble. But the reason why this setup works is exactly how Pedro is explaining. So you have this good day, right? So you have this good day where it followed trend all day. You could see it held the T3 line, and then so people are pretty confident if you're getting in at the beginning of the day, or even if you're swinging this from before, from days prior, you're in the money pretty good, right? Even if you're not options, you're just trading equity, you're very far away from your any type of risk in this type of environment, right? So they're just going to go ahead and put some some trailing stops and go ahead and hold this overnight for it to go ahead and continue up further, especially with it being if we zoom out, you could see that it's at all-time highs, right? So the reason why this works here is because exactly like how Pedro was saying, is that then we have this cool, and I'm sorry, the Thinkorswim is kind of sucks, so then you have a good, pre-market. So you have an even bigger pre-market where all these people that are still in here, or that even just got in from the day prior, they're still holding, right? And then they're up another $5.10 from the close, right? So 169, 175. So about $7-8. And then so what'll happen is you get that emotional where you see your P&L update right when the bell comes out, and then they're taking profit. So you're taking profit, and that's where you get that little dip at the open. So you get this dip here, and it's usually around to like a support, like a pre-market support. And I apologize, it's not showing the thing all the way here, but you can see the consolidation right here where it dropped to, and then it's around the whole dollar number. So it's not like dropping here to like all weird. So when I took this here, so I saw that it was the bids were stepping in here about 176, and then you start getting this tail wick here using the tail wick using the chart, and so you start seeing that buying pressure start pushing it back up, right? So then you start having this risk area that you could go ahead and start buying in, and then so then if it drops, that's where you go ahead and you get out. And then you just you're going in. Most of the time what'll happen is like you'll have like a pre-market high that you could go ahead and take profits off. Obviously we're at like all-time high, so it's a little bit harder. I actually put some Fibonacci extensions in it to be able to get it, but my goal was at least 180, 185. I just thought that that's where if I was wanting a short and I was looking to go ahead and sell, at the 180 would be a good area where I would personally be looking to see some resistance and selling coming in. So I sold some at like 179.78 or something like that, and then I seen it push up one more time, got all the way out, and that's it, because I seen the spike here, and that was it. And so right when it came back down to this Fibonacci line, I could see these downward wicks right here, and the buyers coming in the same area as it did in on this dip. And I wanted it to compress and go sideways and continue on further, but we never got it, so it was a no trade. But going forward, guys, so the thing that happened is that Facebook, Mark Zuckerberg had a press conference on like a bunch of new apps and things that they're going to be rolling out, and they're going to try their hand at like a video conferencing service, an app that you don't need a subscription to or anything, that'll be free, which is that's what happened. But part of this is that if you look at like the flow algo, and exactly like we were talking about these people that were in this trade, right? I'm trying to load my flow algo, but these people that were in this trade, they've been in this trade for quite a bit, right? So they were they've been in here for a few days, maybe a week or so, right? And so they're pretty comfortable here, making their money and nothing's happening. They didn't think, their Facebook was going to put out news for this to happen. So obviously we got the initial reaction where it came down, and then you start having people panic selling, taking profits from their gains over the last week or two from it being up so high. So in my opinion, looking into the next week, this was a way over reaction, people taking profit from this huge move up from the, the last, like I said, even right here, right? So that's what happened, is they got scared out when they seen this drop, and then now we're having a little bit of a basing here. So I think it was a way overreaction, and we'll have some push probably going into Monday, in my opinion. So like a little bit of a mean reversion, even up here to like 169 or something, as long as the market permits and the market is bullish as well. So and then obviously you want to play Facebook with it. If you want to play the other side, you could play Facebook on it, and off of the news, you could take Facebook position for it to probably still continue on up further. But just like on the actual option side, guys. So like if I think I posted it on Twitter actually, that the people that were like all the calls that were in here for Zoom, and so this is it right here. So like so starting as of the 20th, so the 20th there's a bunch. So the beginning of the week prior, you just see like a bunch of buying here, 170, 160, and then they started rolling it up to 180, 195, right? And then this is where they were maybe they were hedging, or maybe they were just trying to capitalize on the move, but this is where they were selling on Friday. But yeah, there's a lot of money in here where they got screwed. So you always got to manage that risk. So that's a good watch for this week, guys. We're going to continue to watch Zoom, and then also Facebook as a sympathy, or I should say Zoom as a sympathy to Facebook. That should get some good moves. The cool thing about it is that Zoom and Facebook usually have generally cheaper premiums. So for you guys to have smaller accounts, that should be a little bit nicer.
And they move well as well.
Yeah. Yeah, you can get $5-10 on it, which is really good. So also Peloton, guys, I started a swing on Peloton. I'm kind of apprehensive a little bit on it, but I see some call flow that is coming through, and then I understand what they're trying to do. So the short flow on this is like 70-some%. And so it's almost like the whole thing that happened to Tesla in Q4 last year, where everyone was expecting this just to nosedive, and nothing happened with it. And so there's a huge amount of shorts, and now with the quarantine thing, they're expecting that a lot of people bought Pelotons from being quarantined, and the price will go up. So eventually what we'll do is, if we start getting above these highs here, so 37, 38, we will have a pretty epic squeeze if we start getting up towards 40, 45, 50. I think it would be awesome to see Peloton go to 100 just cause. So but my thoughts on this is that, so I like to say is that I like to have 3 points fulfilled within chart in order for me to take a trade. So on this one here, I have the call flow that's coming through, that people are taking call sweeps, and then there's the fundamentals as far as being like the high short float, and then I also like this pattern where it spiked, right, bottomed out. You have this compression right here, so we have the TTM on the bigger time frame, and then it's starting to pull away. So this is my setup that I usually do intraday, that just on a bigger time frame. So it definitely usually goes. So, and if not, cool, I'll go ahead and cut it. Like I said, my calls are out the money. It's not going to cost too much. It's just taking another bad, not necessarily bad, but another cut from Peloton, because I did try the same kind of thought process up here when it was trying to push up in this area, and then we had and then we had the whole market drop, and I got trapped. So that was my own fault. But yeah, so that's what I'm looking for as far as on Peloton coming this coming week. And we could look at the SPY and stuff, guys. Usually I like to doing the STOCKCAST a little bit later, so then I have like the futures that we could go over together, but the futures don't open yet. Guys, I mean, we just ate up a whole bunch of bad news this week. We had the bad trials from Guild. We also had the higher again unemployment numbers. We also have a bunch of other things, right? And if you're looking at this chart on the bigger time frame here, guys, and this is what we were talking about in the room, was that I did believe that they would not allow it to go end red for the week. And every time it dipped below here, you could see that, I mean, it just got aggressive where it started getting bought up. So this is almost a perfect setup right here, guys. Just if you're able to buy on these reclaims here of the yesterday's close. So this is where the ticker goes red on the day. This is green on the day. But this is almost a perfect setup right here where you could even see the compression on the TTM, and then you get the bounce, and then you're just basically, you're able to hold like the rest of the day. You get a whole $3, $4, $5 on the SPY. So but that's pretty much what we were looking at. And then right now we have a lot of news with Kim Jong-un, the North Korea dictator, being dead. So I'm wondering if that's bullish news that'll, take effect tomorrow or, later on tonight in the futures. That would be pretty awesome. So, but I really think that we, my profit target still on this, or target for this to get to, is still about 190, guys. If you go ahead and zoom out a lot further, we never quite got like above, 290 right here. So that's still the area that I wanted to get to. But kind of the thing is that what happened this week, because I took a pretty big hit on Wednesday, I realized that my personal system and the way that I trade is very limited, because my stuff is to jump on trends with the big money and ride the wave. So whenever we get into this chop like we're having right now, this shit fucking sucks. Like this whole week, it was just, I mean, there was a lot of lower volume and things like that. So we need to have some type of more catalyst for the market, either to go down or up. So I think we're just going to chop around here for the time being, as well, probably for this week, unless we get some other type of news or anything. So that's those are those. And then I don't think I have any other tickers that I wanted to go over, unless you guys do in the chat. Mr. B, what up? Everyone that's in here live, appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. You have any tickers, other things you want to look at? Oh, a big one a lot of people were playing is actually the one I was pulling up. So Shopify. This thing is freaking a monster, guys. I do believe that this thing keeps on going from where it is right now. So the 646, we had a pretty nice drop that day. That one day that everyone and their mother dropped. So this is like $100 drop or something like this. So for it to reclaim after $100 drop and just, keep on going, and we're getting this ascending triangle right here. This is bullish as hell. So I do think that we do get, maybe 700 or so on shop. The thing is I'll leave it alone. It's not worth it. The spreads suck. It trades like shit.
Yeah, I was gonna say that. I believe the same when I get those numbers. The only thing is the spread is shite. It's shite.
Yeah.
I'm gonna leave it alone.
It sucks, man. So it's nice to it's like a car or a train wreck. It's nice to watch, but you don't want to be in it, right? So I'm happy if you're able to make money on it or whatever, but I would say don't. You know what I mean? Let the institutions and other people play it and stuff. Someone said AMD in the chat. That I did promise I would go over AMD. I love AMD right now, guys. It's giving some pretty good range, $2 to $3, and that's all you need on maybe 5-10 contracts. Make a couple $100, $200-$300 a day. If you have a smaller account on the options, you could there's we have MRG in my room who did that all this last week, $200-$300.
Yeah, that's right. He's been doing really good with AMD alone.
Yeah, so that's all he plays every day is AMD, and that's his paycheck. So right here, guys, we're kind of getting this descending like triangle right here, kind of this distribution pattern here at the top. We do need to get over, I think I was calling it 5760 or so, like right here. Yeah, right here, in order for it to keep on going bullish. But we're starting to I dropping bullets again. So then we have the so we have this low, and then it's starting to make that higher lows here. So if the market continues bullish this week and we get some type of news, I do like AMD going up forward. And then you're using this 5552 as your support. So you could see right here where it came up to as resistance, support, support. Just that's a very key level up here at this level. So if we get a dip down here to the 55, 50, 57 area for the bounce to continue up higher, that's where I would go ahead and get in. Just don't get chopped in, guys, because if you're looking at it on a smaller time frame, towards the middle of the day, especially when the SPY isn't doing much, it just goes sideways. So you kind of got to pick your spots. But yeah, I really like AMD to go ahead and stay bullish as well. Microsoft to keep the volume, check the trade. Volumes Tesla changes on Microsoft right now. Oh yeah, like the open interest on Tesla right now, guys. So let me see if I can pull up the page. Oh. Yeah, but there is a lot of open interest on Tesla, guys. I'll just show you real quick. What open interest is it means like a lot of people have like a bunch of calls or puts like actually in the trade at that point. So you'll see where this is kind of like the setup I like, guys. Like, where you get a spike, you get a run up, and usually you don't realize it, right? You always miss out, right, on the initial move, and then you get a pullback, you get this base, and it starts pulling up away. But there's some huge calls that are up towards 800, 750, 760s, and then also going up further long term up at 1,000. 1,500 and stuff. There was a crazy one. I don't know what happened to my. Let me pull up my flow algo, but I wanted to show you guys this. This is pretty nuts right here. Also, guys, so flow algo. I don't know, for you guys that didn't know, we did partner up. There's a link in my website if you guys want to sign up. It's only $38. I've paid for it like I don't know how many times already using it. It's only $38 for a 2-week trial, guys, and like I'm sure you'll fucking love it. One of my biggest things as far as being an affiliate and doing business with other companies is to not do business with companies and software and things that I don't believe in personally or I don't use personally. Like Webull keeps on. They send me emails every day to affiliate for them, and I tell them to go fuck off. But Flow Algo, I definitely believe in them, guys. I use it every day in the room. So right here, guys, on this Tesla, these calls, so they put so 1.7 million. Is this the one? Oh no, right here. So 1,500 calls for January 22nd, January 21st, 2022. So there's someone making a huge bet right here, 3.3 million worth, for Tesla to make it to 1,500 by January 2022, which is just absolutely insane that they're thinking out that far, especially in this type of market environment. Unless they know something we don't know, but that's definitely notable for you to, definitely something to note there. And then also this huge one, 1.7 million as well on Tesla at 745. So definitely extremely bullish on Tesla as well, probably going into the week. And Microsoft, Flow Algo actually works, bro. Well, let me rephrase. So no tool works unless you know how to use it, right? So if you're using a fucking hammer to wash your dishes as a sponge, it's not gonna work. But if you know how to use your hammer as a carpentry tool, it works, right? So the same thing as I tell other people that are saying, about Flow Algo and, following order flow. It's the same thing as being able to read filings, 424s, S3s, S1s. You can read them, but if you don't know how to apply them to your trading, they're useless. And that's free. You don't even have to pay for that. It's free on the Edgar. So as long as you know how to use the actual tools that you're using, absolutely. But I'm a huge advocate in it. I'm sure that there's other people in here that are actually watching right now that, if you want to put your experiences in the chat with the Flow Algo so far. But yeah, it's definitely a very nice tool. And I think that it is very underpriced. I think it's very underpriced at $150 a month. If you do the monthly, I think it's $150 a month. this software they could be selling for so much more, I believe, in my opinion. No, I don't wash my dishes with a hammer. Well, I did one time. I told you guys I broke the dishes. Because I didn't want to do them when I was young. When I was a teenager with my mom, and that was the last time I did that. So there, you guys are saying yeah, Tesla should be pretty nice, dudes. If you guys are, it's honestly, in my opinion, and I'm a big Tesla advocate. I like Tesla just as a trading instrument. Forget, the whole, corruptness of the company, or whatever people's feelings are. I just like the way that it moves. It has some decent range to it. It's been trading kind of like crap. So, but yeah. Before they make the price go up. Damn, dude. Yeah, dude. So I don't know. I don't know though. I mean, they need a little bit better customer service. I'm gonna put them on blast here live on YouTube. They need some better customer service because I'm still waiting on emails and stuff back from them. But yeah. So then also so you guys said Microsoft. I've been seeing all the call flow on Microsoft as well. I've never traded it, so I just kind of left it alone. And all these tickers almost have kind of the same pattern. So you have this spike up, you have the pullback, and then now it's starting to pull away here. I like that as well. If we could go ahead and get over this fib line at 177.43, and then your risk would be somewhere about right here. So this top right here is where I put my risk if you're looking at it for this week, 170. And then you have you're risking here. So $4 to make 10. So, Amazon. Yeah, dude. Sorry, Eric. Is that Eric? Is that my boy? My boy Smiles. Amazon has earnings on Thursday, I believe, right? Honestly. Yeah, I like Tesla, dude. Like, exactly for what you're saying. The spreads are usually pretty good, and it gives some decent range. And you get all these short sellers in at one time that overpower these bulls. Oh man, the unwinds on Tesla are freaking nice, bro. So I definitely love trading Tesla. I think it's honestly, I honestly think it's worth the premium price. So the premiums could be a little bit more expensive, but for the opportunity cost, it's definitely worth it. But Microsoft, so same thing here, bro. I honestly don't know too much about it. As far as Amazon, if we're looking at Amazon, I would say don't trade it. Honestly, the premiums are going to be freaking crazy the first part of this week. If you want to trade it, I would trade it on Friday after earnings for some type of mean reversion play, and the premiums are going to be super cheap on Friday for the expiration. So after the move that they have from the actual earnings. I would honestly wait till Friday to make, you can make your money from the whole week, just probably on that day from the move that it'll make on Friday. So someone hold me to that. Next week, come back, hold me to that, and we'll see what, the way that Amazon trades on Friday this next week. Actually, on the TGIF stream, remind me and we'll go over it. We'll trade it together, or we'll look at it. But we kind of just, I think I think that everyone that's in this right now is pretty bullish, right? There's a huge amount of calls on this as well. Ooh. So I mean, there's 3,000 calls, there's 4,000 calls in here, guys. Like, there's not even any red printed on this damn flow algo for Amazon. Like, dude, I mean, nowhere. But what I think is going on, and this is, in my opinion, that, the way that it's looking right now, is that everyone is sitting in here long from this, this move up, right? And then now we kind of lost buyers. No one else wants to buy, ahead of earnings. We don't have, everyone ran out of money, and we're just kind of ranging to the side until actual earnings, and then we'll go ahead and start making some moves. So that's pretty much what I believe will happen. Is just it'll continue going sideways until earnings, and then we'll get the move. and then I'll personally start playing it probably for the mean reversion on Friday, or just the volatility. Exactly. Friday, same day expirations. I'm gonna hit the lottos on Amazon, and we're gonna have a party, bro. Cool, guys. So I'm gonna go ahead. I got a few people I think I need to do some one-on-ones with. I think I'm running a little bit late actually, so I'm gonna go ahead and start that. But definitely really cool to do this in the morning. We'll have to do it again. It seems like you guys actually enjoy it a little bit better in the morning. So if you guys want to, maybe every other weekend we have it in the morning. Leave me a comment or a thumbs up in the chat if you guys want to do it every weekend in the morning, and then we'll do futures every other weekend besides that. So we could do futures too. So Charlie's been really advocating for futures too, guys, and I love the software that he's using. So if maybe we could get some futures trading going as well. So, but anything else, guys? And I just want thank you, Pedro. I know that you're busy, bro. You have your family, your grandkids, your everyone, but for you to come and take time out of your weekend, bro, and you got your businesses, you got your mistresses, everything, bro. So I definitely appreciate you coming and stopping your day.
It's an honor, Cruz, to come in and, trying to chip in and help as much as I can. And all I can do is always, talk about my experiences, what works for me, what doesn't. And hopefully, that helps someone else up there,
Exactly. So, yeah, that's my biggest thing, man, is if I could impact. So you guys know my background. I have felonies on my record. I was homeless. I was, I didn't. On one day, guys. Eventually, on this StockCast, I'll have a teacher. I'll have a teacher come from like my high school, and they'll tell you how I was in high school, and they'll say like they never thought I'm doing the things I'm doing. So it'll be fun whenever that actually happens. But if I could help someone in like my same position, to give them at least an opportunity, that would be absolutely awesome. So gonna go ahead and sign out here, guys. I appreciate you. Make sure you please leave me a like. It helps out the YouTube algorithm a lot, guys, so that other people could get value out of it as well. And I appreciate you. We'll see you guys at the open tomorrow. See ya.
See ya.